So, last month, I did something a bit crazy. I reached out to 100 startup founders and mentors on Mentor Cruise. I asked them one simple question. What's the one piece of business advice you wish someone told you before you started? And honestly, the answers blew my mind. Some made me laugh, some made me question everything I thought I knew about starting a business. A few were so brutally honest, they'll probably shock you too. Hi, I'm Tom from Mentor Cruise. If you're thinking about starting a business, this video might save you years of painful mistakes. Let's jump in. Shit before it's perfect. Most people think the hardest part of starting a business is the idea. It's not. It's knowing when to stop tinkering and when to start putting it out there. That's a common theme many founders brought up. Faris Aziz is a staff front-end lead who mentors others to ship faster and cleaner. He said, don't reach for perfection. The pressure to make your first product polished and fully functional before launch is a trap. The goal isn't perfection, it's feedback. Real user input beats internal assumptions every time. Ship something that gets reactions, not admiration. Think in terms of promise market fit, not product market fit. Your early users are usually people you know, friends, peers, and small networks. Get them to pay, even a symbolic amount. It forces clarity on what value you actually deliver. Then double down on the promises that resonate most instead of spreading yourself thin trying to build everything at once. Pace of execution and iteration beat polish and theory every time. So what does promise market fit mean? It means testing whether people believe in the value you're promising, not the product you built. Do they get it? Do they care enough to try it or even pay for it? Those are the early real-world signals that tell you if you're onto something, not how complete you think your product is. Put it out there as a personal mantra of mine because it's a reminder that progress only happens once an idea, no matter how unpolished, meets the real world. I used to get caught up in trying to make things perfect, but I realized two things. One, perfectionism was stopping me from actually making progress because I would sit on my ideas and never learn anything from them. And two, having a high standard was just an excuse for me to avoid the discomfort of exposing my ideas to real people. That's scary. So launch early, learn fast, and you'll make way more progress that way than with the perfect idea that never leaves your head. By the way, all the founders and entrepreneurs I surveyed are mentors of Mentor Cruise. Real people building real businesses right now. If you want advice for your specific situation, not just generic tips, check out mentorcruise.com below. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Speed can help you overcome the inertia of bringing your idea to life. But to turn that into a sustainable business, you need to pace yourself. Mona El-Mahdi is a growth strategist and startup co-founder on Mentor Cruise. She put it simply. Biggest advice, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So move fast, yes, but plan that what you do needs to be sustainable. Otherwise, you'll run out of breath before finishing the marathon. It's a great reminder that momentum isn't just about speed, it's also about consistency. Many founders burn out, not because their idea sucked, but because they never built a sustainable rhythm. That includes intensive bursts of work when needed, but also space for rest and reflection. So if you're just starting out, design your rhythm early. Build your week around energy blocks. Focus, rest, admin. Give each one a clear place so you know what kind of energy you're bringing at different times. I hate admin, but it needs to be done, so I do that when I'm sleepy in the afternoon and I'm out of creative thoughts. Save your energy for the things that actually move your business forward, but balance that with activities that recharge you, like taking a walk, hanging out with family and friends, and whatever reminds you there's a world outside of this work. If you do that, you can build in a way you can repeat, and you'll have a sustainable business. And a life too. Focus, the one thing that changes everything. Once you've built momentum, the next challenge is focus. Because if you've got momentum with no direction, you might end up spinning in circles. Ivan Lee is a former Apple and T-Mobile leader who helps businesses level up their talent and culture. He says, eat the elephant one bite at a time. Focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking is the killer of success. Time block your activities and make sure they tie to objectives. Call Monday your dev focus day and Tuesday your sales day. Get a cadence going. You can feel busy doing a lot of stuff, but sometimes you just pushed 100 tasks forward an inch when you could have pushed a few things forward a mile. Focus on the most important things first and protect them with time blocking. Block your days by themes. For example, Monday could be your product day, Tuesday could be outreach day, and Wednesday could be a strategy day. That way, you're not switching gears every hour and you've got some time for deep work where you can actually get stuff done. Digital marketing specialist Aaron Drotz also has some advice on focus. He says, focus fast on a niche. Pick the customer you win with, double down, and let that guide your positioning, outreach offers, and case studies. At the former marketing agency, my boss was a strong salesperson but never chose a niche or defined an ICP. Growth stalled. Once we concentrated on the segment where we had the strongest results, e-commerce, momentum and referrals improved quickly. Also, don't build in isolation. Surround yourself with a community of operators and mentors who've walked the path you have so you can learn from them and shorten the learning curve. Many founders I speak with are trying to target multiple customer segments at once because they haven't landed on their ideal customer yet. The messaging, product, and strategy all stay vague because they haven't learned where to double down. By committing to one segment, you can learn what works, rule it out, or double down, and then move on with clarity. That's especially important early on, before you've got a team that can help you do more. So the narrower your focus, the faster you can see results you can actually learn from. Talk to your customers every single day. You'll be surprised how many founders build products without actually talking to the people who use them. Chris Nickel, who's a product leader and coach on Mental Cruise, said it clearly. Talk to your customers constantly. Too many founders get an idea in their head and build to that. Later, they're frustrated when customers don't use it or like it. Talk to customers every single day. Not your teams, you as a founder. It's easy to build in isolation and forget that the answers you're looking for, like which features to add or which messaging to use, are already out there, sitting with your customers. If you're just starting out, try aiming for one short conversation a day or even once a week with a potential customer. Find local events on Meetup or Luma, join networking platforms like Lunch Club, and reach out to people in your community's networks. Ask what they're struggling with, what they've tried before, and see how your language lands. And don't forget to return the favor when you can. Every call is a data point that will help you see things you hadn't thought of before. And that's where the gold lies, not just in your head. Except that you might lose. You could do all of this right and still lose. Harry O'Connor, a founder of multiple successful agencies, put it perfectly. He says, "My business advice would be to remember that, as Peter Drucker says, all profit is derived from risk. As founders, we're essentially gambling, and we should accept that sometimes we lose." Not the optimistic view we want to hear, but it's true. If we take this pragmatic approach and remind ourselves of the risks, we're more likely to focus on minimizing them. Secondly, and I'm clearly biased here, but getting a mentor makes such a huge difference. For me, I literally doubled my income within 6 months of hiring someone that had walked the path before me. I've seen similar, if not quicker results with my own mentees. This is the honest reality of entrepreneurship. Risk isn't something you can eliminate, but it is the thing that makes reward possible. Once you accept that, you can shift your focus towards ways to reduce it. For example, before you pour 6 months into building a new feature, try selling the idea first. Talk to 10 people and see if any of them will pre-order or sign up. That reduces the risk before you invest your time or money into it. Studio co-founder and fractional CTO Carl Schmidt says, "Tackle the biggest risks ASAP. Once you've got answers, you'll have massively de-risked your project, your milestone or business model, and get building with confidence." If you're not sure about your biggest risks, start by answering these 3 questions. What would make this whole idea fail? And what am I assuming that I haven't proven yet? Think about those questions across your product, your customers, and your business model, and you'll start to see where the biggest risks really lie and how to start reducing them. The goal isn't to avoid risk, it's just to understand it well enough to keep moving with confidence. Everyone wants a shortcut, the hack, the secret formula. But the founders I asked for advice told me something different. Success comes from learning fast, failing forward, and having someone who's been there guide you. If you want help from founders who've actually built what you're trying to build, visit mentorcruise.com to find your mentor. Last week, I interviewed Sean Gong to figure out the exact steps you need to take to get your online business from 0 to 1. Watch it next. See ya!